Will you be the one to witness the birth of the incredible Nintendo Entertainment System? The one to play with Rob, the extraordinary video robot, batteries not included. He helps you tackle even the toughest challenge. Will you be the first to raise the incredibly accurate Zapper and play games like Duck Hunt or action-packed Hogan's Alley and high-flying Kung Fu, each sold separately? Will you be the one to experience the Nintendo Entertainment System?
Video games must die. Oh, jeez. Hey, I speak to you as the Princess of Darkness. Welcome to hell. But the games industry, even the most obscure indie corners, is rotting to the core. And something that is so rotten beyond repair needs to be put down with a flamethrower so it doesn't lay eggs later. I know precisely it's beyond disappointing and discouraging that my beloved shahar cultural media has turned into one of the most evil businesses in the planet, one that goes without any proper control, in which leaders go do really fucked up shit consequence free. You might honestly say, well, Joan, isn't every other cultural or artistic industry also rotting in capitalism? And I say, yes. Yes, they are. But at least in the other cultural or artistic industries, there are regulations and some greater maturity to be taken more mature criticisms of the medium. I might see the sea of comments down below here and see all the people who didn't get past the first minute of this video saying something in the lines of, oh no, what's wrong with the games industry is Sweet Baby Incorporated and woman. Do I need to remind you that I want grown-ups in the audience? Shh, shh. But in the world of the games industry, everyone is the villain here, even myself included. The gamers are game consumers, the game business leaders, and everything in between. I think we're all part of the problem, honey. But I think I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. So, in this video, I will tell you my personal grasp of the games industry as a game developer and as a game consumer, why the games industry has been going out of control downhill, and why it finally needs to be put to rest. I think you'll expect me to talk about, I don't know, some weird obscure Doom or some Doom factoid like some sort of AI slop channel shit. Well, the Doom community is as rotting as the game industry too, so now we're gonna listen to me info dump about something I should have info dump about for ages. It's been so long, isn't it? Oh no, JMAA stopped making music and now she's complaining about the games industry. What a fool you are! This is one of the main reasons why many of the modern games usually don't have players committed to finish them fully. A lot of these games are a commitment to grind for filler to get to the good stuff. And when we grown adults have already a commitment to work a 9-to-5 job of the sort, we barely can make a commitment to complete these games. It's not laziness, it's a complete exhaustion. Cyberpunk 2077 is another very grimy example of this, as much as I will hate to say it, because behind it are the nice foundations of a game. The only problem is that the gameplay is that it's advertised in-game trailers and other marketing materials, or at least scattered in the few first hours of the game, and maybe a tiny little bit everywhere else. The rest is nothing more than half-baked, half-cooked fluff and feather. Same goes with Fallout 4 or Skyrim. You didn't see a pattern here. The good stuff that is advertised for a game gets usually buried in between hours and hours of boring fluff and filler. This is what we in the YouTube business call padding, the practice of adding useless filler into something to make it longer. I usually have a bad experience with Cyberpunk 2077 and Skyrim, not to mention that the whole point of these couple games is to mod the fuck out of them, but the base game's lengthy first hours are even contaminated with this, especially the tutorial sections of them. They got really good stories, but it's really hard to get immersed into the open world when all you have to do is the same chores every time you start a new game. You escape from a dragon, you kill some goons in a dungeon to get your first weapons, you go to a town to talk to this NPC, and then you go into another town to talk to this other NPC, all without fast travel, boringly walking your way in between places. And I understand that that is a very therapeutic element of the game. If it wasn't for the fact that this isn't a walking simulator, and from time to time you have to fight off in the way a bunch of critters and NPCs in between. Padding. Basically, what I just did in the previous couple paragraphs of the script here is padding. I intentionally added filler into the video to make it slightly longer, which is a thing most commentary or slop channels that like Paracynical like tend to do. But I think that as it is with YouTube content, padding in games is with filler and fluff is really unnecessary and only serves to extend attention into a game for long enough to convince anyone to make microtransactions or something. Even multiplayer games are guilty of this. You know this type of grinding in MMOs like World of Warcraft, where the good endgame content is buried deep beneath the hours and hours of quests that go like, kill for me 50 Hellfire boards and I'll get you this nice scapegoat, good old lass. Even games like Fortnite, where you not think you'd spend any more time than a casual match, are guilty of trying to make you grind for skins and weapons and emotes and dances and so on and so forth. Even make you pay to grind for even more stuff like that, like with battle passes and the sort. And what will a games industry that's already earning billions of dollars, more than the film and music industries combined, will want to extract as much time and wealth as possible from the average Joe playing video games? To be completely frank with you, anyone might point out that the quality of games has been proportional to its constant monetization and rising prices. And if you really think that, you might be a little bit misguided. You honestly look at a game on a shelf back even in, 2005 or so, and find a game of reasonably good quality. Say, Team Fortress 2, Portal, Half-Life, I don't know, maybe Doom 3 or something, to name a few. But ever since, the industry has grown gimmicky in the ways of trying to extract as much wealth from the consumer or gamer, more now than ever, with constant needs of trying to not just grab your money, but also your beloved praise or attention. And now that I get the attention, yes, even the indie game industry is a death cult. Speaking of cults, look, hon, I was a game developer of sorts, right? Johan Weiss, Plum Bum, the unfinished Sass's Fash, that porn game with fanboys. In my experience, the games industry has been an unforgiving and unfair bitch. And compared to the film and music ones, it has been even moreover so given the amount of effort I spent making these sorts of games. This is the same for 99% of the developers on Steam, sadly enough. Name one indie studio that has been very successful that goes completely on their own without having any sort of already existing influence from prior or any connections to other important people in the industry. Try to do that and you'll eventually find a problem with this industry, indie otherwise. Hollywood has been the creative industry's blueprint for how the creative industries operate in terms of distributing success and sustainability for creatives. The gatekeeping of celebrities to a disgusting degree that is not just hypocritical, but evil as well. This applies to the music industry as well. Think Janet Jackson being sexually assaulted to a nip slip, and so she gets punished for that, being completely ostracized from the music industry as a whole. Britney Spears suffering abuse from the people who listen to her to a degree that her mental health worsens so much that the music industry intellectually put her on a straitjacket. Meanwhile, Kanye West, or Ye, who has been on a Nazi parade for ages, received millions of dollars in revenue in positive media coverage all of a sudden. You can easily see the parallels with with the games industry, with like any kind of industry, where you have to be lucky or privileged in the assisted patriarchal society of gaming to have the right connections in the industry. Think Kojima, who's rubbing shoulders with Jeff Keighley from the Game Awards, or any Hollywood celebrity. New Blood's releases are gold, but that's just because they got deep pockets and deep connections with the industry. Your success or sustainability as an indie depends more importantly on the connections you have with the industry. And that sort of nepotism is pretty fucked up, to be frankly honest. At the same time, the success will end up mostly in the hands of the AAA industry, who manage to somewhat gatekeep which games will be successful depending on how many dollars do they generate to the shareholders of the gaming industry, or other arbitrary reasons. If this sounds like Hollywood to you, you might be hitting like the nail, kid. Game industry for this. As a matter of fact, I think the blame is on the AAA game industry or the global game industry who conditions the whole industry, even the indie one, to behave this way. There's a certain biz thinking that resembles the mafia of sorts when it comes to even the smaller of businesses possible. That's the magic of capitalism, baby. But the AAA game industry has conditioned and psyoped the rest of the industry into following patterns that are even as harmful as the ones in Hollywood or the mainstream music industry, only to appropriate itself of the successes of the few anomalies that exist in the base to sort of advertise and brag about the whole stranglehold in the industry as a whole, saying, look at these games, the games industry is as profitable as it is because of these games, and they make us so much money. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't think local funk will like his game Balatro to be paraded around by AAA game companies and multi-billion-dollar corporations to brag about their war earnings globally. I'd be pissed off if I was him, but hey, he made a lot of fucking bits of money, so yeah. On the subject of gatekeeping, that's why the Game Awards with Jeff Keighley exists. Not to celebrate the real talents of the game development and the sort, but to celebrate how many billions of a certain type of game has made them, and to just parade a bunch of advertisements just because money, right? What's your bid? Clear Obscure Expedition 33 is not a game I played because I refuse to play anything Ubisoft adjacent. It even rings of French. Ugh. But it's glaringly evident given the obscene amount of awards this game has got at the Game Awards 2025 and even more compared to something like Balatro. It's like Expedition 33 is a game chosen by someone to get as many awards as possible, somehow like the industry picks obvious favorites through sheer nepotism. And the devs of Expedition 33 are not random nobodies and their dog. They're ex-employees at Ubisoft and of pretty notoriety too, who even outsource most of the labor of the game to third world country studios. But this type of exploitation by outsourcing is now glaring why the game has a suspicious AAA game polish to it. The problem with the game industry too is that the AAA games industry has conditioned the rest into following trends that affect the quality of the games as well. Think Balatro for once. After Balatro, everyone tried to make their own Balatro. After Undertale, everyone tried to do their own Undertale too. It's like the AAA industry's trend chasing also applies to the indie industry as well. Ever since Balatro especially, it seemed like the formula or trend that worked best at the time for the indie industry are roguelikes that are borderline gateways to real-life gambling, in the sense of slot machines, poker, and so on. And so now we got a heap of gambling-themed games like Glory Pit, Ratcoin, Slots and Daggers, Buckshot Roulette, and so on, which this might sound controversial, but this sounds dangerous, and I can testify as a recovered gambling addict. It's dangerous because in the pursuit of depths of any size to grab the most attention and profit as possible from gamers, they're willing to hijack the same dopamine nonsense that Call of Duty does, or hell, even casinos. A lot of games in the industry, not to mention, are already gateways to real-life gambling with a certain mechanics. Look at CS2's loot boxes, which already spawned a whole casino business out there. A lot of the indie game industry even is getting dangerously close to emulating the steps of the AAA game industry now. And to some extent, you don't even know who's an indie anymore. There's quite a lot of indie developers even who make the same formulaic, generic, checklist-driven games just for the sake of appeasing a greater audience and generating more wealth. And for that reason, there's even the streamer bait, like the Fear and Hunger games, which rely solely on shock material and offer only shock value's sake. The money almost makes itself. But you'll probably find a lot, especially that, like the AAA game leaders, you get a whole industry with an unchecked ego, and especially too many cis white straight dudes ruling the industry. Female, cis, or trans developers, like in other creative industries, are not just invisibilized but also marginalized and mistreated, not just in the AAA game industry but in the industry as a whole. And that didn't even get me started on Gamergate, which is a psyop made by Jeffrey Epstein, the king of pedophiles. Imagine being myself, a transgender female game developer, just trying to make a living in the game industry. It's already shit, and we already know it. It's not just often wage gaps in the industry, obviously, but it's also a general sense of abuse and marginalization. Not getting hired, being stolen of their breast milk, being sexually assaulted, so on and so forth. By the way, if you know by now, this was what happened with Activision, Blizzard, and Ubisoft, and to some degree Bethesda too. And a lot of the abusers, who are cis straight white men, have gone consequence-free and even started game companies of their own to clean up their PR as well. And some of them include the forever idiot Mark Kern, aka Grumps, who has been yelling anti-woke nonsense on Twitter forever, being the insufferable cunt. After all, will anyone dare to call them out for this sort of abuses? I don't know, but I want to make a small caveat. I don't earn much funding from these videos, as you might have noticed, and given that the Goon Fund money is not much, I decided to take sponsors. And today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. I have my editor put like a bar indicating below how much stuff is for the sponsorship to end, so you can know where to skip it. And in fact, Raid Shadow Legends is a mobile game so good, this sponsorship section is not about Raid Shadow Legends, nor it is a sponsorship at all. I like instead to use the sponsor section to talk about the mobile game industry for a bit. You know the plethora of horrid advertising on social media from multiple mobile games, some of them even bordering rich paid. I had to block like a bunch of them because they keep coming and it's the same range-inducing ad over and over again. They're bad. The same puzzle game with a crushing walls, the same shitty RPG shit with sexual tension in it, the same shoot panels with hordes of zombies to fail again. But it's demonstrated that all of these work because they are not built for the player like me who rages at these ads. They are aimed at a curious enough monkey that will check what game it really is. And that's why they keep making these ads. The games industry, and by all means the mobile game industry, is self-conditioned into doing this sort of crap. Not only in the mainstream games industry conditions them, but they self-condition each other to do the same shit. Because they see their work on the competition, therefore they'll do the same. Mobile games industry is just as desperately designed as the AAA game industry as a whole. And that's why I don't play mobile games. Hell, the closest I've played as a mobile game is Duolingo. And that's just to learn German to go to Berlin one day. So, now we'll talk about the main reason why the majority of game companies have been getting away with this sort of stuff scot-free. And let me tell you, it's as fucked up as it sounds. Thanks Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. And if you already know how the story goes so far, you know it I'm going right now. Gertzman was fired from GameSpot in 2007 because the Take-Two executive, the owners of Ken and Lynch 2, nudged GameSpot, reminding them that they were giving GameSpot ads and previews and all of their own game, so Gertzman was fucked. It's not the usual briefcase prop shit that we tend to hear a lot usually. I'm looking at you, Cecile. But nonetheless, what Take-Two and other game companies do here is a form of bribing that's more insidious and subtle. The games press has made itself its own trap in the pursuit of competitive relevance. You know that if you want to survive in the game's journalism space, you need to get exclusive previews, interviews, demos, copies before anybody else. And if you point your finger at a game company's wrong direction or criticize them for anything, game publishers and companies can blacklist you from games coverage. No more demos, no more free game copies, no more previews, yada yada. When gaming news and reviews should be covering truthful facts in the game industry and not just be an advertising billboard for game corporations, often covering up abuse cases for the next piece of a game corpo's PR piece. Traditionally, back in the day, game reviews and game coverage were basically purchasing advice for people who play games, telling which games were advisable to play if you want an fun experience and which ones are not. And seemingly, game criticism has evolved even into what a reviewer feels personally about a game, which might be a positive step into a mature analysis of the medium. But I think, given that this was said in an interview by Jeff Gertzman as well, a man who's being fired from GameSpot for giving a game a 6 out of 10, a game that was heavily advertised on GameSpot, the irony writes itself here, because given the latest gaming reviews in the sort, it's neither purchase advice nor feelings about a game. It's marketing for a game. And this was a problem that's so bad, Video Game Donkey explored it in depth and shitted on it twice. And gamers, don't even get me started on gamers. There are people who do not know what they want most of the time. And developers, not game executives, have to suffer this pressure too. Either make a half-ass, half-baked game and have gamers complaining, or either delay a game and have as well the gamers complaining too. I remember, seeing an old H Bomber guy video with the same advice, and it's incredible how we've not done anything to follow through that advice, because it's full of genuinely good advice if we don't want game companies to keep getting away with it. Just please do it, because the video game industry must die.